Guys, YouTube's N'Golo Kante deluded you know the best YouTuber at this. Now on Saturday, Arsenal welcome Spurs to our place, the first North London derby. I don't need to say why this is a big game. Yeah, man, let's just crack on and get straight into it. Firstly, we know you've seen the tactics board and me talk about the tactics, so I'm not going to speak about it again, but we know it's going to be a tactical and physical affair. That being said, tactics and form go out of the window when it is a big game. But for me, form is a big thing. Now Spurs, they're doing their thing. They sit second. Like they sit second. I'll talk about their goal difference later, but they sit second. They've only lost one game this season, and I think if I remember rightly, forgive me if I'm wrong, and that was again. Wait, they've only lost one game this season. That's a lie because they lost against Chelsea. But they've picked up They've picked up the majority of points. That's still the same logic, yeah. The one big away game or away form has been a big thing for Spurs up until a couple seasons ago when Poch came. There was problems there. You're seeing Spurs doing their thing at home. They're getting their results, and they arguably look better away from home. Especially Kane. Kane, you're messing up my fantasy league, bro. You need to start scoring. That being said, you don't need to score on Saturday, but you do need to start scoring. So we know we're going against a side that's doing their thing. Spurs, they've been blitzing everyone that's come against them. You saw what they did against Liverpool. They lost against United, but if you're a Spurs fan, you probably expected that. Historically, they don't turn up at Old Trafford, and on one hand, you want to see them turn up, but you knew that was going to happen. And when you look at the macro, to sit second, you'll take a loss against Chelsea if my memory serves me right, and United to still be in the pack, especially as a Spurs fan, if you get where I'm going. So yeah, man. In regards to Arsenal versus Spurs, of course, back in the days, Arsenal, you didn't have to say they were going to show fight commitment, especially against Spurs. And dare I say it, you knew you was going to win. Obviously, times change, and how it was as a kid is not how it is now. So as a Spurs fan, you're obviously excited. Just away from Arsenal in general, as a Spurs fan, this is a time where I don't want to say you're feared, but you're feared, like you feel fearless going into big games. You should be winning that. You shouldn't be happy with draws in big games. You shouldn't be happy if you don't win the league because you've had the best side in the world in the Premier League according to everyone for the last couple of years. You've got one of the best left backs in the Premier League. You had one of the best right backs in the league in Walker. Trippier's not doing too bad. Kane's getting 20 plus goals year after year. You've got Son just that chipped in with 20 in all comps last year. Delhi, all of these things. Pochettino's got them very well drilled, well organised. They can play several positions. Especially, I'm most envious about how they are in defence. It don't matter if it's a back 3, 4, 5, however you want to class it. When they change in games, they're well drilled. It doesn't matter what Spurs player plays in that back 5-3 defence. However, you look at it. It's still the same, organised. People know their jobs. People know each other's jobs as well, and I'm very envious. You could put the most rubbishest defender in the Premier League or in that whole Spurs organisation, whether it's academy or whatever. It wouldn't make that much of a difference. Of course, I'm exaggerating a bit, but you get the point. So yeah, with all of this, if I was a Spurs fan, I wouldn't be happy if I didn't win the league. Any side that's in the top 6 really should be anything less than the league is failure, regardless of this team's got this guy and this team's got that. Your top 6 side. So Spurs are very much doing their thing and they're fearless, man. And that just shows where we even it's early in the season, but that just shows why they're second and we're 5th or 6th or something like that. They're second on 23 points. 23 points. We're 6th on 19. Goals for at 20, which is the same. So we've both been getting near enough the same amounts of goals. Goal differences, they've got goals against. They've got 7 versus our 16. That just shows you one side can hold a back. One side can hold a back line. One side is as serious about clean sheets as they are about scoring goals. One side understands the importance of defending and doesn't neglect the dirty work, the less glamorous problems at in football that Arsenal are not doing. Versus us, which we just want to attack and we don't want to do these dirty things. I know City, everybody talks about how they play football and they play wonderful football, and a lot of that is true. But one thing that doesn't get spoken about with Manchester City is the amount of running they clearly have to do. Even Poch gets praised for the amount of running Spurs do, and Liverpool, but no one says it about Pep. The point I'm making is that's the stuff you have to do. Arsenal don't do that, so that's why we are where we're at. Because whether it's sides like Spurs, Chelsea, even sides that got that like Bournemouth that were unlucky not to get a point against Spurs when Spurs eventually scored, or guys like Burnley. Now I know Burnley and Dortmund, Bournemouth are on the joke man thing compared to Arsenal, but look at this on this side of you. Them sides there, that whole Burnley side are playing for Sean Dyche. That Bournemouth side slightly less, but to a degree, are playing for for Eddie Howe. So they were able to put in a convincing performance. Now, is that same logic going to happen when we welcome Spurs? I don't know, and it's probably not. I'm not going to list, like I said earlier, I'm not going to list that we need to show hunger, desire, fight. You know what Arsenal need to show. We've been saying this. We've been showing. We were here down this lonely road before the international break, slash just after, just before it, when we played City. Like we've been down this. I'm not going to speak about what we need to show and what we could. You shouldn't I'm not it's a waste of time and waste of minutes going into a video. So yeah. Like in regards to Spurs versus Burnley, I mean Spurs versus Burnley slash Swansea when Swansea got a draw. That just shows you that you can if you put in a convincing performance, you limit the space, you remain rigid, you remain committed, you have half a chance against Spurs. Like I said, Spurs couldn't break down Swansea. Credit to Swansea, we just weren't meant to be. Burnley did their thing. I think they drew, and then obviously Bournemouth were unlucky. Three sides that went there with commitment, working, and obviously the quality of Spurs ultimately made the difference in a couple of them games. But that just shows you if you go against them in a certain way, you have half a chance. They really rely on Kane and Dele. If them two are not really at it, who else is really going to score and do the business? I'm being quite harsh in that regard because Son got 20 plus last year. Eriksen's chipping in and been chipping in. They've got couple other players here and there. But what I mean by that is if it's not Kane and Dele typically making the runs, being involved in the thick of it, they're gonna fight. It's normally an uphill struggle for Spurs to score, right? I know Spurs fans, the most honest of you, will agree with me. While we're on Kane, we really need to just not encourage him to shoot. It's like a Mac 10. I've been saying this. He's on this Mac 10 just shooting. Out of all them strikers, I'm pretty sure he takes the most shots. You shoot from the edge of the area, he'll make a yard for himself. We can't. And by that logic, the more shots you have, the more tickets you buy for the raffle, you're more likely to win it, innit? So we've got to stop him versus that. Like, the midfield is key. The midfield have to defend, have to help the defenders. We know our midfield are not committed, and they've shown against Liverpool and they've shown that against City that they're not in this and they're not sensible. But they have to give our back four or three half a chance by helping them, because Kane is going to pull into space, Dele is going to make runs, Eriksen is going to be lurking. So yeah, man, Spurs are going to do their thing. Like away from home, they look slightly better. They've been doing their thing at home. I do personally think Spurs have several levels to go up, and every club, bar City, have to ask themselves questions in this period. Because I look at the Newcastle game, they're getting wins. Swansea, that's it's not meant to be. Bournemouth, they won it eventually. These sort of games there, Spurs are doing their thing, but that leads me to believe there's several levels Spurs can go up as players, to be honest. And obviously it takes a while to get fully fit. I know pre-season was a while away, but it takes a while, and just the amount of games people are playing. But Spurs are doing their thing. The only thing Spurs should be scared of going into this game is overconfidence. Spurs' only worst enemy going into this game is Spurs. If they believe, and they should believe, they can turn up at Arsenal and win, they should believe that. But why they shouldn't is because you haven't won a football match before it's played. So if they do that, it leads to complacency. I don't know, for example, Kane might not hit shots with as much precision. People might not make as much runs. People just do complacent things, and complacency is a killer because it leads to certain things. Spurs should be confident. Spurs, if they walk away with anything but 3 points, they should be vexed. That's the reality. This is one of the first times in a while that Arsenal versus Spurs, if we walk away with a point, that's a good point. If Spurs walk away with anything less than 3 points, if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be angry because Arsenal are a soft touch. Arsenal are there for the taking. For God's sake, Stoke and Watford have taken 3 points off us. So Spurs, who's been one of the best sides, if not the best side, for a number of years now, if they believe they can't take 3 points or don't take 3 points, they should be mad. But by that same logic, we should be taking 3 points. We haven't got the mentality that I have or the Arsenal of old. We should be taking 3 points. It's Spurs versus Arsenal. You should not need to tell someone how much of a big game this is. And yeah, man, off topic, Kane and Dele are hope. This is a message to our defenders. Watch their runs. The last man, watch your shoulder. Watch your shoulder. But yeah, man, this is just... I'm past saying what we need to do. I'm at the point where the players need to prove it to me. I'll always support the team, but they need to prove it. They need to go out there and do it, because we've heard all of this stuff before. Granted, even before the City game, they were talking. The time for talking is done. It's been done for a while. You need to show it. Personally, in my heart, I believe we could win. I believe we could turn up, but my heart's not logical. My brain is telling me we're going to get smacked. My brain is telling me we take a point. DG, we take a point. We live to fight another day. I know we've got United coming up soon, but we've got a couple easy fixtures. I don't want to say easy because it's Arsenal and it's the Premier League, but you get where I'm going. In regards to team news, I don't know. I've made this vid before the press conferences because I don't really care for it. So I don't really know in regards to Spurs' team news, but I'm pretty sure Toby might miss out. Don't quote me because these players have a way of finding themselves back to fitness. Vertonghen probably shakes off his problems. I think Dele, Winks, Kane all had issues, but they probably won't have any problems, so they'll be playing. In regards to us, Wells has returned. He's been training since the international break. I don't know if we'll throw him in because the last time we rushed him back kind of early and he was getting these problems and playing him in games he shouldn't have really been playing. So I don't know in that regard. I would start Jack Wilshere. The time to start is not Jack Wilshere is now. We need to try something different. He's a Mr. Arsenal. He's an English boy. He knows what this game means to the fans. I actually remember 011. I went to the derby. Or was it 011? Whichever one we lost. And when we just got top 4 because we beat Newcastle, Wilshere was playing and it really resonated with me. I've told you guys the story before. So yeah, I don't know in regards to who he's going to go with. My heart tells me he's going to play Coquelin purely because of the way Spurs' midfield is, and to try and nullify them, he'll go with Coquelin. But if it was up to me, my midfield would be Xhaka and Ramsey, Xhaka and Wilshere. I don't know how many times again in training they've worked together, but we might as well say my full team lineup because I'm going off topic. Checking goal, Bellerin on the right, Kolasinac on the left, Kolasinac on the left, however you say his name, forgive me. Back three of Mustafi because I think he's back. Monreal because he's likely to play, and Koscielny, but I would play Holding if I could for instead of Monreal. Midfield, I've already said it in Wilshere and Xhaka. Ahead of them, Ozil and the big men in Lacazette. And I know he didn't play well against City, but you've got to keep Alexis in there because if we don't, there's problems. So yeah, Alexis. So that's my lineup. Let me go over it again. Checking goal, Bellerin on the right, Kolasinac, however you say his name, on the left. Back three of Koscielny, Mustafi, and Monreal. Wilshere, Xhaka through the middle, Ozil, Lacazette, and Alexis. Guys, that's the preview to Arsenal versus Spurs. Hopefully they prove me wrong and they show me some intent and we can take this 3 points and move forward. In my head, we've lost already. I would love a point. I'm out, guys. DG.